always good to be in the United States because we have a couple of collaboration going on. So coming to the point, we are working nowadays, of course, the basic idea is CNS injury and repair. My field is blood-brain barrier especially. It is done apart in India in 1992. Then I moved to Sweden with Ingve Olsen. Yes, a renowned neuropathologist. I got training from him and also worked with Service Navarro from Germany. He's another renowned neuropathologist, especially cerebrovascular unit. So now we have the group in Uppsala, Sweden, and we are working now. We got interested since 2004 the effect of nanoparticles. This is US Air Force Research Laboratory. They wanted to study how this engineered nanoparticles can affect the brain function or brain pathology. So since 2004 we are working on this aspect, and our idea is that it's in vivo situations. So you can see that Wright-Patterson Air Force Base is supporting our research. Then we have here European Office of Aerospace Research and Development, and their office is in London. And we work with National Center of Toxicological Research, USFDA, in Jefferson. And this is Air Force Office for Human Health Factors. This is my university that is established in 1476. It's quite old, but there are many other older universities here. AstraZeneca is a drug company, and this is Swedish Strategic Research that is for Ministry of Defense. And also this is my hospital. It's 300 years old. So there are lots of tradition of the research. So I will show you briefly what we are doing. It's not a great depth of scientific data, and I have to show this. You know much better. And so I will not talk anymore. So the idea is that we believe that whatever happening in brain is the modification of the blood-brain barrier. And this book we produced in 2003. And so we still feel that the blood-brain barrier is the gateway of neurological diseases. It is opened or disturbed in all kinds of neurological diseases. So our idea is focus of drugs to find out the reduction in the blood-brain barrier opening. And we feel that with this cartoon that whenever the capillary is leaky, it can influence neurons as well as the glial cells. And you know here very well that the number of glial cells are 6 to 10 times higher than the neurons. So when we are talking about neuroprotection, I think we should not only focus on neurons but also the glial cells or the microenvironment as such. And I must show this picture because this is Dr. Service Navarro. We were in quite early learned electron microscopy. My wife is still sitting there. At that time, she was Humboldt Foundation Fellow, considered to be very prestigious, and I learned a lot from him. So our idea is here that we understand any kind of CNS insult can open the blood-CNS barrier. I say CNS because also blood-brain barrier, spinal cord barrier, and it can open the large molecules to come in, like edema proteins, and it can also influence various kinds of diseases. All factors together can lead to cell death. So this is our broad hypothesis. We are working trying to accept it or reject it. Then concerning some new development, this we have produced an edited volume, Nano Neuroscience and Nano Neuropharmacology, because still the drug companies are very much interested in nanotechnology, but they have different kind of nano formulations. But people are getting less attention on the toxicity aspect of those nanomaterials. So this we are doing together with different organizations in the United States. One company, American Scientific Publisher, came to this idea. So we have this Journal of Nano Neuroscience established in 2009. It has a large, good editorial board. It is still in a primitive state. And you can see that we have editorial board from NASA, AIMS, and many prestigious organizations all over the world. So just to focus the idea that this is neuroscience. Since these are very expensive and these have a strategic influence, so many governments are interested in this work, from India, from China, and so this is at that time the former president of India was very much interested in this work. And this is also a political formation because this is also politics, not only science. And you know in the United States that both can go together. So So this was support from Sonia Gandhi, who is the leader of Indian National Congress, and Dr. Shally. We are developing a corporation here in Miami, in VA, you know. He also thinks that the future is nanomedicine. So we have developed a collaboration with Dr. Shally. He is very kind. He is also a board member of our journal. And this is Dr. Aruna Sharma, Chemistry Nobel of 2004. We discussed with him these technological aspects, and he is very supportive to our work. And of course, this paper is published, so it was an invited review. So the idea we would like to say that normally we are having a model, healthy animals, like you do ischemia in healthy animals, traumatic injury in healthy animals, and then try to extract information on that basis and go to the clinical trials. But these clinical trials always fail. The point is that when a patient comes, either it is cardiac arrest or stroke, he's not healthy, because this stroke or cardiac arrest cannot happen in a healthy animal, so or human beings. So might be so many other kind of diseases are there. For example, hypertension, diabetes. So many other external factors. If the injury or disease is occurring in a safe environment or environment where so much pollution. So we try to have establish these comorbidity factors. Working on normal animals, we believe it can give some idea. But the clinical relevance is there that when we combine these comorbidity factors. So these were highlighted. I have great regard to Inge Olsen, and I think many of you know him very well. So that was my basic graduation in his laboratory. Regarding nanoparticle and its influence on the nervous system, we can say that these are such important problems that we can't ignore. I mean, think about not only a strategic point of view that our soldiers are exposed to different kinds of blast and missile injuries, and they are in placed either in Middle East where they are having sand particle all the time, intoxication, but also in the environment. I mean, motor vehicle exhaust, so many microfine particles are there. We are breathing almost every day. So the problem is really serious actually. So, and I show you, this is my old institute, Institute of Medical Sciences in Varanasi. We are working with, especially I would like to point out, this is Dr. Dileep R Yavagal. He is working in Romania, University of Medicine and Pharmacy, Cluj-Napoca. And he is involved in so many clinical trials. We are working with him and his wife. They were visiting our institute. So, and since Pallav is already here, this is Dr. R Yavagal is speaking. This is Dr. Ranjana Patnaik. She is our colleague and doing great work with us. And this is Dr. Amitra, my colleague. We work in. So we are visiting and having good collaboration in that institution. Now coming to some examples for the military point of view. You see, in normal situations, either the military is in combat or in normal operations, their situation is like this. They are in desert, exposing so much silica, dust, and if any traumatic injury will occur to them, then probably the effect will not be severe. The other situation, this is not for US military, but I mean in other parts of the world, they are always very attentive. So we still consider that this kind of partial immobilization, so they have stress, they have heat, and they have so much nanoparticle intoxication. So together with Dr. Bill Sleeker, he's the director of US FDA in Jefferson. We have another lab there. We started working on that. So I will show you some of the preliminary data regarding the effect of these things. So the first thing is immobilization. So the animals were immobilized partially in this tube, and this tube is specially made so this odor will not affect the other animals, and they can still have some partial immobilization. This is the chamber we use for hypothermia, so 5 to 50 degrees Celsius, and these other conditions, humidity and all other things. We have also some support from Jordanian military. This is the Princess of Jordan, and they have some interest in strategic research. Well, so they coming to the point that immobilization stress, here you can see that it will not affect the blood glucose level in that. This is the model of 2 kidney, 1 cliff hypertension, 1 week, 4 weeks, there are slight changes in the blood glucose level. when they put to immobilization stress, partial, the point is that 21 degrees Celsius and 33 degrees Celsius. So normal temperature is slightly higher temperature. So what we can see here that there is not so much changes in the glucose level that much significantly. And the mean arterial pressure is, of course, we have used in hypertensive animals, the mean arterial blood pressure should not be more than 180. If those animals are passing above that, we discard them because it can spontaneously open the blood. So these are our groups. And so they were subjected to immobilization at 21 and 20 and 33 degrees Celsius. Okay. So the main point is, and then we have used this very sort of primitive way to study this rotarod, and some of you are most familiar with 16 RPM is the speed, and rats will fall if they have some problem, and this is inclined plane angle, so it can increase and decrease, so the animal can stay there. So these are very primitive steps. Well, I mean, everybody was very kind to us. Some of the works they have, they really like our works. So coming to the rotarod performance, here you can see that normal animals at 1/22 they can stay at 16 RPM.
What do you mean by silicon intoxication?
Silica.
Silicon oxide
Yes.
intoxication.
Intoxication means they can go into the body either by inhalation.
Yeah, those. Yeah, we breathe and particles every day. But what do you mean by intoxication?
Intoxication means that these materials are coming into the body, accumulated over that time. Anything can be intoxication. Depending on the dose, it doesn't necessarily
No, what is the definition of Of course, you breathe particles. We breathe particles all the time. What is the definition of intoxication? Otherwise, I don't understand the data.
Anything that is silica is not in our body. Okay. Or is it? Is it present? In human cells there is silica present? I don't know. You might be knowing better.
No. You missed the point. The point is at what level is
what you consider intoxicated? What level of that?
Yeah, alcohol is not in the body. You drink alcohol.
Yeah.
At certain point you get intoxicated.
Yeah.
So what is intoxication? Otherwise, I don't understand the data.
Intoxication means, if you see that even methamphetamine intoxication, they are talking about that. This is the toxicological term. By the way, which area you are specialized? Toxicology, physiology, pharmacology. Then you will understand.
Does it mean anything to you? I mean, I asked for definition.
No, that's why I am talking. Because if you talk to toxicologist, methamphetamine given 9 milligram per kilogram subcutaneous is intoxication.
Your definition here.
The thing that is not in your body.
No, what I'm
not
talking about whether you get tiny bit and a lot of things. I'm talking about you show this picture saying silicon oxide intoxication. What I don't understand is what is intoxication?
What level of this
silicon? At what level you consider as intoxicated?
In this scale that you have there, what is the level that is in
This is the time in second for rotarod performance. This is 1/22.
Okay.
Dr. Sharma, are these animals exposed to silica?
I am coming.
Okay. I just understand.
This level is rotarod performance in second, and this is 1/22. So if the normal animals can stay over there for 1/22, these are the normal features. When the animals were having hypertension, 2 kidney, 1 clip, and then for 4 weeks, and then they were 21 degrees Celsius at this time, their performance is failing than the normal. So here is no silica at this moment. Okay. When they were exposed to 33 degrees Celsius, then the performance is further deteriorated. When we have given immobilization stress here is no silica cell at the moment. I will come back to the question. So you can see that 2 kidney clip means hypertensive plus immobilization at 21. They are quite okay. But at 33 degrees Celsius, the performance is much more deteriorated. These are time in seconds. No silica level here. Okay. Then here is silica 10. And the dose was 50 milligram per kilogram. The size was 50 to 60 nanometer. They were administered intraperitoneum for 1 week.
So where does the silica go after it's given intraperitoneum?
Silica can reach to almost any part of the body. But here in the brain, we have not examined the silica level. The blood level of silica we have examined. They can increase over a 1 week. In normal cases is nothing. So if the increase could be found 400 to 500%. And
what cell types does it enter in the body? The immune system, for example?
yeah, that is the other question. The point is that whether any nanoparticles, either this silica, copper, silver, whatsoever it is, whether they are producing a direct effect on microvessels or the brain cells, or they can change the systemic stress level. And this is very well known that these nanoparticles produces oxidative stress. It's not the direct effect per se. People are using in cell culture, and if they are using even nanomolar conditions, and if you read the papers, I beg your pardon with great respect to your science and your question, if you study the cell culture studies, even they apply the silica at certain, this is a neurotoxicological language, and then those situations the cells were intoxicated. We have to find a definition, then after my talk we shall go and find what is the definition you can understand. But that is another thing.
With respect to this, how does blood pressure differ in these groups? You might think that that's an unmeasured variable, that at very high temperatures and stress, these animals may have different levels of blood pressure, and therefore different degrees of barrier opening if some autoregulatory rate.
No, the blood pressure itself, because in some cases stress produces hypotension. Not hypotension. At the time that we see, if we have this immobilization stress, probably it can produce hypertension up to a certain point. But at the time of leakage of the barrier, there is hypotension. And we have published this paper, I think 82, in Journal of Neurological Sciences. So these changes are not related to the simple blood pressure. Because you are in the field, when the cerebral autoregulation is not disturbed, then the blood-brain barrier is not going to open, and that's the work of Barbara Johansson. So in a stress situation, in most of the kind of stress situation, there is a very early rise in the blood pressure, but that is gradual, not immediately.
It raises an interesting question because of your military implications. Soldiers in the Middle East who are working in 110, 120 degree temperatures and wearing lots of clothing and hats. I wonder what happens to their body temperature over time and what happens to their blood pressure in stressful environments. Do any soldiers wear blood pressure monitoring devices? Is this known to the military? What happens?
Because not only they are using that, the soldiers suit they are using for the warfare, they are measuring even all the temperature, skin temperature and many other things, and the blood pressure online monitoring.
And what happens?
There is not a steep increase in the blood pressure at any time. So in early response, there is some hypertension followed by low blood pressure. And it has no relation with the temperature. There are few papers, I have no quoted here data. And this is one of the examples that people are using. They are also given exercise for treadmill after that, and measuring all these parameters, even EEG and all these things are done, but they are normally under that situation, it's not dramatic changes in hemodynamic values. So that's very important. And therefore, here the point is that when here I will stick to this term because this is technically, legally, scientifically correct. So I'm not going to batch that relation. So here, this is intoxicated.
No. You misunderstood me.
Yeah.
I'm not here to judge you.
Yeah.
I'm here to understand what you are talking
No,
about.
yeah, it's okay. But at that time, I was not talking about silica. So now you know that that was the dose given for a long time. So I will use this term again. Sorry. So here at 21 degrees Celsius, when they were put to silica alone, there are certain changes in the rotor atomic. This is not blood pressure. They are rotor. At 33 degrees centigrade, this is further worsening. When we have combined with immobilization stress, this is another variable. Then at 21, not that dramatic changes, but at 33, it's a dramatic decrease in the rotor performance. So the point is that if we have somehow the presence of any nanoparticles, in this case silica in the body, we have hyperthermia, mild hyperthermia, and also the stress, the effect is so this is one can conclude. Now the question is that whether these cognitive and sensory functions do always follow brain pathology. It's not necessary. But that is the another part of this investigation.
I have a question.
Yes.
This silica that you injected in the animals, what is the reason? If I understood well, you're trying to mimic what soldiers can have during their
You see,
so,
yeah, I understand. You see, even we can't mimic any stroke experiment like human, just occluding 4 vague microvessels and producing ischemia, and you say they are very similar to human, it's impossible. We can't mimic spinal cord injury because in animals we anesthetize them, open the spinal cord, making injury over the dorsal surface, whereas in motor vehicle accident, in patient, they are occurring in conscious condition, they are not anesthetized, and the spinal cord injury is occurring from the ventral side. So no animal model can mimic the human cases. What we study, all toxicological study, I mean people are using methamphetamine, cocaine, whatsoever it is. But there is a pharmacological procedure in normal healthy animals. That's why I am telling they are giving certain dose to understand its effect. No one can claim that we are mimicking human situations or something like that because there are multiple factors. So the idea is that the point is that if one group has nothing or saline, the other group has silica, is there any change? We cannot claim, not a single model on this earth can produce human situations, either in disease.
My question was more that is it possible for them to get intoxication, or I mean no intoxication, but get some kind of this material through breathing or something if they get some?
If you want to mimic, I beg your pardon, if you want to mimic, we should inject sand in the animals. But we cannot do that. So we bought silica especially from the Sigma or good companies, well characterized, and what we can mimic that there are certain information that is not permitted me. I could not give you those information, but I can only say that the blood level of these silica is quite comparable to that people are exposed under normal situations to the military.
Okay, yeah, that was
understand?
my question. Why silica is terrorism? So
There
they
are-
can expose.
yes, and not only that.
Yeah, okay, that's my
When you come to nanoparticle research, it's not only the compound, it's size. Okay? If you use 50-60 nanometer, it's another effect. If you use 20-30 nanometer, it's another effect. And even larger size, 120 to 150, it's another effect. So there are numerous variables. But where do we start? Either we leave research and go back home because we cannot create any human situation. It's not like that. That's why we are having lab research. We wanted to study the effect of one variable. And in many cases, even we study one factor at a time. So I don't know where is the confusion, but anyway. So the
there's
point.
no confusion. I just wanted to know
Yeah.
why you guys use silica if there was a possibility of the soldiers to get that
Yeah.
kind
Well,
of
there must be some reason. That's why we make a spinal cord injury. I mean, the way you have the wet drop, you have the concussion. In this way, humans are not injured. But neither soldiers. Soldiers are injured by a bullet fire. You can't bullet a rat in the laboratory. It's not allowed. So you have to find some mimicking conditions, even far remote than that, to study something that is happening. On that basis, drug development is being done. And apart from that, when you are talking about human cases, the cell culture experiments or molecular biology experiments, they are very far than the real situation, but experiments are done everywhere. What information we are getting from those observations? So in this situation, still we are working on the in vivo model, and that is much more similar to at least the human situation. Otherwise, there are many effects there. They have a neuronal culture putting silica, stating their effect. Okay. So here, the message is that the combination of nanoparticles, stress and hypothermia is worse. The same kind of thing was done on inclined plane, and the point is that the maximum combination of here, in this case it is silica, 33 degrees Celsius, hypertension and immobilization. This is much more worse condition. I think I have to speed up anyway. So we can say here that silica neurotoxicity is higher at 33 degrees Celsius. Immobilization effects are compounded at this point of temperature. And then these conditions are also enhancing brain damage. We always believe that brain damage is quite comparable to the breakdown of the brain. And here you can see that the same thing is happening. I will not keep you until 5, so I can only tell that these are different regions, and the maximum damage is occurring when there is a combination of the stress, hypertension, and high ambient temperature.
How do you measure the breakdown?
Breakdown of the blood-brain barrier is measured by millions of ways. I have used radioiodine leakage. This is the radioiodine leakage. It is injected intravenously.
What you measure?
Leakage of radioiodine in special samples in the brain. Okay. Then the other thing is brain edema, and brain edema can be measured by brain water in selected regions. And of course, I mean, those who are not familiar with brain edema research, they can understand that these changes are very little of impact. But those who are familiar, here, some of them are point you sitting here, even a change of 1% increase in water means a lot for brain edema. So again, since we have lost some time, I can only tell you that here the brain edema is also correlating very well at high ambient temperature with silica and hypertension as compared to the normal situation. Then these are semi-quantitative data measuring neuronal reaction, and there are different ways to measure neuronal reaction. Some neuronal distortion may not necessarily be the damage, but here we have counted those things that neurons are not normal. And there are different regions: cortex, hippocampus, striatum, thalamus.
You must be, even if they are, you say this is neuron damage. What do you mean by neuron damage?
Yeah,
this particular.
I was expecting this question from you. So that's why I tell.
Yeah, hey, you are giving us some information.
Yeah.
Just give him a chance to answer, please. Thank you.
Yeah. So the normal shape of neurons is well known, and if there is a damage, either some of them could be swollen, some of them could be shrunken, and both are neuronal damage.
What did you measure? That's what I asked.
He's explaining.
I'm explaining, sir. First I showed this semi-quantitative data, and I will also show you some examples. Is it okay? So, again my point is that the number of distorted neurons, that's why it is written here, distorted neurons. The question is, again I am telling whether they are permanent damage or temporary damage, we don't know. But the distorted neurons are very high, again, in the same circumstances where there is a combination, hypertension, silica, immobilization, 30%. Now you can see some example of neuronal damage, and some of them here are qualified neuropathologists. So you can see here that this neuron, at least I should not say that is normal, because the nucleus is dry and the cytoplasm is not transparent. Around it, perinuclear edema is there, and also these neurons are not normal. So if you take this picture in different regions of the brain, the picture will be different. These are some examples, and one can just compare visually that again the neuronal damages are higher in the same group where stress, silica, and hypertension at high ambient temperature. Now again, another common comorbidity factors is diabetes, and I think here people are well aware about these. So when the animals are made diabetic, how you are going to measure the blood-brain barrier? One of the simple things, when you don't need to have any exogenous pressure, is to study albumin leakage, endogenous albumin leakage. If the permeability of the barrier is open, then normal albumin present in the brain can go into the brain. And then you can study them using immunocytochemistry. That's very simple. You can see here diabetes with saline, some neurons, probably, or cells, showing some albumin positive. And when these albumin, not only they can lie in the neuropil, when the damage is much severe, they can be intracellular. And there are lots of reports here in the field of barrier and edema formation. And you can see here a combination of diabetes and silica is much more severe in the neuropil, and also many neurons are stained with albumin. And this is the situation of neurons. You can see here. Diabetes is saline, most of the neurons are quite normal in appearance except a few. But silica and saline, you can see many neurons were abnormal. But a combination of these things, you can see that even in the neuropil, it's much more wider destruction, and many neurons were lost. Then anyone will see that, well, these things are either an artifact or whatsoever it is. So we always try, we believe seeing in believing, so therefore we do morphological investigation. So here you can see that they are from the same area approximately. I cannot claim that they are the identical areas, because people who are using electron microscopy, they can understand its level and pain anyway. So this is the myelinated agent. Here you can see diabetes plus saline. There are some distortion, but not that much damage, of course. But here, when we have added silica in this case, probably in the similar area, we have much more myelin vesiculation. But the combination of these two can produce much more wider damage in the myelin. So whatever we are observing at light microscopy, they are quite true also at electron microscopy. I think I have already spoken to 45 minutes. So I think it is better I should stop here and take questions, because there are so many. Yeah.
The other side of the equation, the use of therapeutic nanoparticles.
Okay.
Just in a word.
Okay.
What are you doing along those lines?
Okay. So I will briefly, and this was in the news last year in Society for Neuroscience, when the size and age dependent effect of the nanoparticles were presented there. So I skip this, but I can only tell that probably we can't understand in this room, or to someone, that we are doing either. I don't know. But Dr. Andrew Shelley believes that we are doing great work. We have just a volume concluded, recent perspective on nanoneuroprotection and nanoneurotoxicity, and they have given their opinion. And this is also Ole Petter Ottersen. He was chief editor of neuroscience. At the moment he became rector of Oslo University. So he left this science business anyway. So I skip those things. I'm coming to that cases here. Well, some of the observations we have been asked that there are different nanoparticles producing oxidative stress, but I'm coming to therapeutic part. So, and I leave this part here because there are recent developments of using nanotechnology in Parkinson's disease. So I leave that. Nanoelectrodes I will not talk about that. Nanoknife I will not talk about that. I don't want to sit you all the time. So I skip those things of Parkinsonism, and I can tell something about this nanolabeling. And on this aspect, it is believed that any drug is given by nano delivery, it may have better effect than the normal situation. Very easy. Not confirming, but the point is that when the drug is entering into the brain, I'm talking about only. So in brain or spinal cord, given with nanoparticles, the drug and nanoparticle binding will be less catabolize than the normal. So the drug can be an active part for longer. Second thing, that some of the nanomaterials can make in connections far, so that the distribution in the brain and spinal cord will be much wider and quicker. But it needs to be verified. One of the major area of the nano drug delivery, they are using carbon nanotube. One example, one can inject drug into the carbon nanotube. There could be single walled, could be multi-walled, and they can be administered. There are of course different ways of understanding it. Carbon nanotube itself can be neuroprotective. They have some functions on it. At the moment we are also using a drug that is cerebrolizing, and this is a drug manufactured by an Austrian company. We know that this is a multimodal pleiotropic action because this is a smart combination of different kind of neurotropic factors, brain-derived neurotropic factors, glia-derived neurotropic factors, nerve growth factors, and also active peptide fragments. So some of the things this company will not say. They have this clinical trial of the stroke, they have clinical trial in Alzheimer's disease in the United States, and many things are going on. So, and we are associated with some acute experiments with this compound. And here is Dr. Ryan Tian in University of Fayetteville. He is the leader of titanium nanopets, and he has the patent for that. We are collaborating, and he is Dr. Ryan. He is also in University of Fayetteville. So they are producing this titanium nanowire and leveling different kind of drugs. This is done in University of Arkansas. And actually, the father of nanowiring is Proton Young from University of Berkeley. He is a great leader, but he is engineer.
What is a nanowire?
Nanowire, yeah, that's a very good question. Some nanomaterials, it is not necessary that they are metal. They are synthetic way in the laboratory. They can be created in nanowires. They are just like, I will show you, or I missed some picture, but I will show you better. So these nanowires have different physics because they are like mesh. And then by chemical combination, you can put drugs on. They have a binding over the nanowires. And these nanowires can be administered intravenously. And even in some cases, what the people in Arkansas they are doing, this knee surgery, they are using titanium nanowires with drugs inside and closing it. And then it has long-term beneficial effect. These are no joke, they are working. In Parkinsonism, they have tried even in some cases of healing, but at the time I'm not telling. So we have used some of these nanowiring techniques. And as I can tell you, nanowires can be prepared by anything. So silica, silver, copper, and their permeability will change. Here is one example that this is embryonic stem cell. It can survive longer when it is applied on the silica nanowires. These are facts, no fiction. And people have used nanowiring to stem cells. They are surviving longer, they are active for a long time, and this is an example, mouse embryonic stem cell penetrated with silica nanowires. By fluorescence microscopy, you can see they are much more lively for longer time. And the other way to label the drugs is quantum dots. And these quantum dots, you can put drugs here. They can easily penetrate the normal cell membrane, and they can be detached here and provide long-term actions. These are the nanodrug delivery part. And this is an example. When these nanowires, they are just behave like normal cells. These are the examples. These are not my work. These are published works from others. And you can see they can interact very lively as a normal cell. And of course, we are working on titanium nanowires. They could be of any size and can be used either for drug delivery or even normal implantation. And this is an example that cells on nanowires, like stem cells, can grow. So it's a really new technology NASA is using, and in different parts in the United States. Here you can see that they are growing much faster, and these are electrochemical influence that they are still alive. But the other part of nanowire, I mean, here is titanium nanowires. They can be used to kill specific cells if they are implanted. Here is in the situation of the cell culture, and the tumor cells can be killed by the titanium-based nanowires. So the same thing is working in a different way. So these are the latest development, and here you can see that the cells are destroyed, tumor cells are destroyed. So one group is working in California that how to specially kill only cells that are abnormal. And using these nanowiring techniques, they can deliver it only to the cells that are abnormal.
Are the wires bound to something, or just the wire, the wire itself?
I will show you some scanning electron microscope images. So, but these are, I mean, some normal way that they can also bypass the blood-brain barrier much better than the normal compound. And here we met Dr. Shelley. We are working on some, it was 2 days ago. We tried, he has lots of new compounds that he has synthesized. We would like to use nanowiring them and try to study in some models. The rest is confidential. So this was one example I can show you in a model of animal model of Parkinson's disease, and this we have presented in Shanghai, China, cerebral blood flow metabolism. And so here you can see that, I mean, you are more familiar than me. I have more interest in nanowiring, here. So this is thyroxine positive cells, and this is normal, and this substantia nigra and striatum. You can see that after making them MPTP toxicity, they are gone. But cerebrolysine, normally they are able to revive it. But nanowire cerebrolysine, given, they can revive much more better. And I will skip those things because they are similar. I can only tell you here that control and MPTP, GFAP, and Nessel staining, they are very much damaged. But when we have used cerebrolysine, they are much more better. I will show you some examples before. And since all these things are very expensive, both the Arkansas governors, this is the past one, supporting our research, and I can only tell you again the same silica intoxication, that there is much more expansion of the spinal cord after normal injury briefly. And here you can see that this is the effect of silica on spinal cord injury as compared to this one. This is also injury. And this is the sitting governor of Arkansas. He is supporting our project, giving us millions of dollars to work on this. And well, we have given this analysis, and different parts, the better parts are here. And nanomaterials, nanodrug delivery is making many drugs much better. I'm not going into more detail because I consume most of the time. Here is the nanowire drug delivery. You can see that myelins are much better as compared to the normal situation.
Has the FDA approved any nanowire-based?
They are, yes, they have the patent, US patent of this nanowiring, and nanowire induced drug delivery is in Arkansas. They are still practicing it. So now FDA is trying to guideline its neurotoxicological aspects, and that white paper will come very soon. And also Environment Protection Agency, all these US government authorities are involved. And of course, these works are done from Sweden. So our Swedish government is very active. This is the now it's former Prime Minister, and we have very strong collaboration with Chinese military. and this is Dr. Fung. He is the Vice President of Norman Bethune International Hospital, and he is the Director of the hospital. They have, one of them has done a Swedish PhD, so we have very strong connections with them. And this is Dr. Wang Hong. He is in Beijing, and this is the work of neurorestoratology. And he is Dr. Sandberg. He is in Tampa. He is Chief Editor of Cell Transplantation. And I close it very soon because these are our supporters. And we have a long International Association of Neurorestoratology here. It was founded by Dr. Wang in Beijing. We have next year meeting combined this Global College of Neuroprotection and Neuroregeneration in Bucharest together with this. They have Journal of Neurorestoratology, Frontiers of Neurorestoratology, Cell Transplantation, and I have this American Journal of Neuroprotection and Neuroregeneration. Dr. Juan is the founding president. This society was founded in 2004, and I am the next elected president of this society, and Zafin Murasan is the chairman. So I would like to welcome you all. I will send this first invitation to you, and we hope that we should all